Hello, hi, welcome to the last session of your Max Stats Logical Reasoning. I'm doing limits and continuity. This part has been newly introduced in CA Foundation new syllabus, and this is the first attempt in which you're writing about limits and continuity. But one very good thing, until 2016 this limits was there in the syllabus, so it's not completely new. Exams were conducted where limits and continuity was asked in examination. So based on the past examination papers until 2016, I can say that limits and continuity come for just 1 mark. Limits for 1 mark, continuity for 1 mark maximum. Now continuity will not come in every examination, but limits part is important. So this 1 hour session that I'm going to take now is for limits part of it. Shall I start making the explanation? Just a minute. This is election time, where if we assume that Modi ji is coming back, usually whenever they assume Modi ji is coming back, stock market usually increases, correct? And if there is change of government, stock market usually falls down. Let's assume that I am a trader who is trading on the stock market. If I assume that Modi ji is coming back, stock market has to rise. On Monday, we know that Modi ji is taking oath. Right now, Nifty is at 22,900. Whenever major event happens in India, usually stock market raises. So Modi ji taking oath is a major event, third time, correct? So stock market ideally has to go up. I'll assume that stock market goes up until 23,100, and totally 200 points will be up on Monday's session. This is what I am assuming. Let's assume that I have made some investment in call option. You all understand what is meant by call option and put option. When I'm expecting that market is about to go up, I make the investment in call option. Right now, some call, let's say 23,100 call, that value right now, today is Friday or Saturday. Right now, that call value is 400 rupees. When the market goes up to 23,100, I am expecting the call option to go up around 550. So I am purchasing at 400. I'll sell it off at 550. 150 rupees profit. If it doesn't happen in this way, let's assume that some other major event happens, like Russia-Ukraine war or Israel war, some other event happens, making the stock market to fall down. Maximum that I am expecting right now, this is the current rate, 22,900. Market can fall down to 22,600, which means though I have already purchased for 400, if it falls, it can fall up to 300 rupees. 100 rupees is my loss. Or let's assume it can fall up to 250 rupees. So when I am making this purchase of 400 rupees call, I will set the limit. Sell at the limit 550 or sell at the limit 250. Right now the value is 400. I don't know what will happen on Monday. Even if it increases to 550, above that it will not go up. So 550 I want it to be sold, or because I am taking class, I will not keep a watch. So only limit anta order place madbekadre we have the option. Or if it is falling down, when it falls down to 250, I want the limit to be set. Because if the market is going beyond 250, I am incurring more and more loss. The maximum loss that I am okay to take is 250. These two are known as limits. Every time when we make some stock market purchase, we are applying the actual concept of limit. So upper limit and lower limit are 550 and 250. Did you understand what is meant by the concept of limit? Now, why exactly limit came into existence? We know 1 to the power 0 is equal to 1. We know 2 power 0 is equal to 1. We know 10 power 0 is equal to 1. Anything power 0 is equal to 1. The problem became when someone asked what is 0 to the power 0. While proving this, the concept of limits took its existence. Have I done this concept of 0 power 0? Like you start from 0.1 power 0.1, 0.2 power 0.2, 0.3 power 0.3. You go on and on and on to 0.9 power 0.9. Have I done this in the class? I remember this. See, when you start from 0.9 power 0.9 on your mobile phone, you will get the value as 0.9. 0.8 power 0.8, you get the value as 0.8 something. Adhe tara, when you come to 0.3 power 0.3, ideally if I use my common sense, it should have become 0.3 itself. Nah, it is not becoming 0.3. It is becoming 0.7, 0.2 power 0.2, 0.8, 0.1 power 0.1, 0.9 ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. So, as and when the number is approaching 0 to the power 0, my number is approaching towards the value 1. This is the concept of limit. Whenever you are approaching a value, even this side the value is becoming 1, that's the concept of limit. In limit ali, there can be two types, left hand limit and right hand limit. What you can see on the screen, let's assume that function is equal to 2x. Now, whatever amount I invest in the stock market, I want that amount to be doubled. Say if I invest 200, I want the amount to become 400. If I invest 2 rupees, I want that amount to become 4 rupees. So, I want that amount to be doubled. I want the function to get doubled. Our doubling functionally, if I start from 1.9, it is slowly approaching 4. 1.99, 3.99, 1.999, 3.999. Hage slowly that number in the number line, if I consider this as 0, 1 and 2, slowly I can see as and when I am increasing the number is about to touch 2, not exactly equal to 2. This is the concept of left hand limit. See, 0, 1 and 2. I am coming from left side, 1.99, 1.999, 1.9999. This is approaching 2 from the left side, that is known as left hand limit. That's what I have written here. Similarly, I can approach 2 from the right side as well. It can become 2.1, 2.01, 2.0001. Slowly it is coming towards 2. That is known as right hand limit. Right hand limit is, see, 4.02, 4.0002, 4.00002. So, slowly the number is becoming more and more closer. When the number becomes exactly equal to 2, this number becomes exactly equal to 4. Until then, it is slowly approaching 4. This approach from the right side, 4.02, 4.0002, 4.00000 is nothing but 4. This is known as right hand limit. Artha aita, what is left hand limit and right hand limit? Basically the movement, that movement is known as limiting format. E limit is almost the same as equation. Equation ali, in place of x, if I take 2, what will happen? That becomes the limit. Let's directly start with examples now. Take down question number 1. I'll click this picture and send it across to you, but I want you to write this down. Compute limit. Now you can see it, I believe. Compute 3x square plus 5x minus 9 when x approaches 2. How do you read this? X approaches 2. How to solve this? In place of x, just put 2, you will get your answer. So, x jagadale I am putting 2 square because they have given x approaches 2. It will become 2 square, 5 into 2 minus 9. So, your final answer will become 13. Agidya, everyone got the answer. So, this kind of question is easy. In ICI material, there are just 11 questions that are printed, total just 11. But if you see old syllabus, total there were 55 questions. So, limit is actually very big concept. Until 2016, if you see CA Foundation Max, there is limits continuity but with 55 questions printed. And one good thing, they have only asked questions from ICI material, these 55 questions. Eager in the new syllabus, they have only given 11 questions in total. So I am expecting that you will get some questions from these 11 questions only, 1 or 2 questions. Whenever I give such kind of questions now, this is very easy. Why? Because my answer is not becoming something indeterminate like 0 by 0 or infinity by infinity. Make sure that your answer shouldn't become something like this. If you are getting your answer like this, the way that you have solved is wrong and now you have to change your approach. That's the only thing you have to keep in mind. I'll give you a few other questions where it is not taking that indeterminate format 0 by 0, infinity by infinity agala. I'm giving you such kind of questions, solve them. Later I will go what happens if it becomes 0 by 0, infinity by infinity, then how you should solve, I'll take it up. I want you to solve these 6 questions. Let me know once you complete. Find the value of limit x tends to 3, x of x plus 2. All you have to do is in place of x put 3. Unless and until you are not getting your answer as 0 by 0, you can get your answer 0, but it shouldn't become 0 divided by 0. Until then you can solve. So exactly I'll give you 6 questions are there, 6 minutes time. Solve. Let me know what answer you are getting. Let's start. What is first answer? In place of x, I have put 3. 3 of 3 plus 2. 3 into 5 is 15. Did you get the same thing? Yes. Second one. In place of x, I will take 2. How do you read this? Limit 3x plus 9 as x tends to 2. That's how you have to read. X tends to 2. So, in place of x, I am taking 2. 3 2s are 6 plus 9, 15. Correct? Third one. Limit 1 by x minus 1. Remember, had this been x tends to 1, 1 minus 1, 0 ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿತು in the denominator, then I had to use some other technique only, factorization method or something like that. But because it's not in this way, I'm getting the value 1 divided by 5 minus 1, 1 by 4. Done? Next, fourth one. Limit x tends to 3. In place of x, you have to put 3. So, it becomes 3 square plus 4 into 3. 12 plus 3 divided by 3 square 9, 6 3s are 18 plus 9. So, final answer is 24 by 36 or 2 by 3. Correct? Next, limit x tends to 2, 3x plus 2. In place of x, I am replacing 2 over there. 3 2s are 6 plus 2 is 8. And the last one, limit x tends to 6. So, 6 minus 3 into 6 minus 2 by 6 minus 4. Your answer is equal to 6. Everyone got this answer, very good. Now, these questions were easy because I was not getting 0 by 0, infinity by infinity. These are the only 2 exceptions. Ideally, in examination, you will get a cranky question like that, 0 by 0 or infinity by infinity. So, before I go for that, I'll give you more question. Look at this. Try to solve. Put in place of x2, check what value you are getting. Evaluate limit x tends to 2. X square minus 5x plus 6 divided by x minus 2. So, directly if you put in place of x as 2, 2 square is 4 minus 5, 4s are 20 plus 6 whole divided by 2 minus 2, 0. Something divided by 0 agbardo. It should not become divided by 0. So, it is taking this indeterminate format. In the denominator, it is becoming 0. That should not happen. Something by 0 agbardo. Hagadre, I can't put in place of x2. So, what I have to do? Check either the numerator or the denominator. I have to use factorization method. Factorization method alli x square minus 5x plus 6. You already have completed equation. You know how to convert this into factorization method, correct? So I have done factorization method. X square minus 5x na minus 3x minus 2x plus 6. So I will get x minus 3 into x minus 2. Everyone understood this? X minus 3 into x minus 2. Why I made it in this way? Because I was getting something divided by 0. So now in place of numerator, I will replace it with x minus 3 into x minus 2. ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ numerator denominator x minus 2 gets cancelled. Now check whether you are getting 0 divided by 0. No, you are not getting that. 2 minus 3. So your answer becomes minus 1. You understood when you have to apply factorization method? Only when you are getting something divided by 0 or infinity by infinity. 1 by infinity is fine. Infinity by infinity no agbardu, or it should not become something divided by 0. If it becomes only, then use factorization method. Write this down. This is the second one. Second type of question. Bharani done, completed. I'll go ahead. So I'll give you another question like this. You see, just by looking at the question, you can make out denominator, is it becoming 0 or not? If I replace x with 3, 3 minus 3, 0 aagta idya. So obviously I can't put x as 3. So what I have to do? Numerator alli I can make it into factorization. Does it look like a square minus b square format? X square minus 9. X square minus 9. Can I convert this as a square minus b square? Yes, I can. 9 can be written as 3 square. So I can rewrite this as x square minus 3 square. Arthagta idya? Numerator, because I have to use factorization, I am converting that as 9 as 3 square, because I can apply a square minus b square. What will this become now? A plus b into a minus b. So x plus 3 into x minus 3. When I do this, x plus 3 into x minus 3, and I replace the numerator with x plus 3 into x minus 3, x minus 3 gets cancelled. So now what I am left out? X plus 3, which means 3 plus 3, 6, correct. So if it becomes something divided by 0, only then you will apply factorization method like this. You can copy the question. Done. It's not necessary that always I have to change the numerator only. I can also change the denominator. My only point why I am changing the numerator or denominator is to make sure that it doesn't take 0 by 0 format. So based on that, I am giving you another question where now I am changing numerator, I am changing denominator only. I am changing denominator this time. Look, what does the question say? Limit x tends to 9. Denominator I have x minus 9. So this becomes 9 minus 9, 0. Denominator should never become 0. So now what I'll do, look at the board carefully. Can I write x as square root of x into square root of x? Can I write 9 as 3 into 3? So now I will change this denominator x minus 9 in terms of numerator as root x the whole square minus 3 square. 9 becomes 3 square, x becomes root x into root x square. Is this clear? Why I made it in this format? Same way, a square minus b square. A plus b into a minus b. So root 3 plus root x plus 3, root x minus 3. Why I took specifically in this format? Because I know numerator, denominator, root x minus 3, I can cancel off. So in the next step, I am changing the denominator as root x plus 3, root x minus 3, cancelling this numerator and denominator. I am left out with 1 divided by root x plus 3. In place of x, what can I take now? 9. So it will become root 9. What is root 9? 3. So denominator will become 3 plus 3, 6. Denominator shouldn't be 0. That's the only rule of anti-limits. It shouldn't be 0. So write this down. You understood the solution? It's not a hard and fast rule that only numerator has to be changed. In this question, we observed that even denominator can be changed. And all the questions that we are doing now, either those questions are past examination questions which was asked before 2016, limits was there in the syllabus, or these are questions which are printed in your ICI material now. Why did I change denominator? Because I couldn't change numerator. If there was any chance of me changing the numerator, 3, what square is 3? Nothing. But 9, what square is 9? 3 square. That's the reason I changed the denominator. Until now, we only did the questions where x was taking something like 9, x was approaching 9, x was approaching 3, x was approaching 2 and so on. Question will be little more complicated if x is either approaching infinity or approaching 0. So whenever they ask any question where the x is approaching infinity or x is approaching 0, take that question in the last at 3:45, because you can't solve that question within 1 or 2 steps. You have to apply your mind. So my sincere suggestion, if you get any examination question where x is approaching either 0 or infinity, take up that question in the end. So I'm giving a question based on that. Find the value of, this question is easy only, it's not very difficult, but find the value of limit x tends to 0, 6x power 5 minus 8x cube divided by 9x cube minus 6x power 5. If you put off x value as 0, both numerator and denominator, x and x jagadalella 0 0 bandu, your answer will become 0 by 0, indeterminate format like this. So I can't do 0 by 0. So what will I do? Easiest way to make the conversion. I know that 6 is not a square, 8 is not a square, or denominatorally 6 is not a square, 9 can be square, yes, but 6 is not a square. So I know I can't convert this as a plus b into a minus b. So the only thing that I can do, take out something as common. Can you take something as common from the numerator? We can observe that both of them are multiples of 2. Similarly, both of them have x cube. Now x power 5 also has x cube, just that 2 more times it is multiplied. So I am taking 2x cube common from numerator. Denominatorally 9 and 6. 9 and 6 both of them are multiples of 3. So I am taking 3x cube as common in the denominator, because 3 3s are is 9 and 3 2s are is 6. Similarly, x cube is common from both, which I have taken outside. So when I take x cube as common outside, what is left out? 3 times into 2 times is 5 times. Correct? Next 3 times. Next 3 times into 2 times is 5 times. Both of you understood how I got it. I'll cancel x cube and x cube. Now it becomes simple. I can't further substitute. So now let me put 0 in place of x. So I will get 3 into 0. 0 only, minus 4 divided by 3 minus 2 into 0 is 0 itself. So what is left out in the numerator? Minus 4. Denominator 3. Now you can do 2 4s are 8, 3 3s are 9. Only problem is it shouldn't take something divided by 0 format. Any other number is fine for me. Write this down. From here, difficult problems start, because you can observe, unlike other questions that I did, I couldn't convert it into something square. So I had to use my mind, take something as common. If I hadn't taken something as common, there was nothing common. Let's imagine the numerator was 6x power 5, 7 x cube. I couldn't have taken anything as common during that time, correct? I have to think of other ways. Multiply all the terms by x square, x cube, or divide all the terms by x square, x cube. I have to convert it in that way. So if any of you are non-math background students, you can just solve until this question on the day before exam. The next questions are little difficult. You watch the video, solve this, but on the day before exam, don't experiment on such kind of questions. I'm going ahead for tough questions now. Starting with the question number 1. When x tends to infinity, Till now, I never did any question where x was becoming infinity. Keep 3 points in mind. Point number 1. If I get 1 by infinity, I can keep the answer as 0. Because 1 by infinity is 0. My problem is infinity by infinity agbardu, 0 by 0 agbardu. 1 by infinity is fine for me. There's no problem. Second, if you see any question of this format, it is actually a rule of limit. You have to rewrite this as E. The final answer, if you see the question is of this format, just go to the final step and write off the value as E. That's simple rule. You need to by heart this. Third rule says your answer should never be infinity by infinity or 0 by 0. Give the heading as x tends to infinity. Write this down. X tends to infinity. Write down. Whenever question mentions that x tends to infinity, keep 3 points in mind. Keep 3 points in mind. First, 1 by x or 1 by infinity is equal to 0. X is becoming infinity. So 1 by x jagdale I am writing 1 by infinity. This value is 0. Similarly, 1 by x square is 0. 1 by x cube. Arey baba, x is infinity. Infinity square, infinity cube, infinity power 3. It doesn't matter. All these values will become 0. Next, this is a rule of limits. There are various algebra for limits. I did not do it in detail. This can be rewritten just as E. Write it down. It's a rule that you have to remember. And the last point, answer should never be of the format infinity by infinity or 0 by 0. Done? Okay, I'll start with the questions now. Look at question 1. Weird question. Listen, then you can write. Limit x tends to infinity. 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square plus dots plus x square. Let's check your memory. We had learned this in one of the chapter. 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square dots until infinity square. Do you remember which chapter it is? Series and sequence APGPLE. I had given you few formula. Any of you remember the formula for this? Correct.
X equals to A.
Illa. No. You remember? No? Okay. There were 3 formulae that I had given. If you have 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus dots until infinity, or you have till n. So it was n of n plus 1 by 2. That was the shortcut for finding sum of first and natural numbers. This time I am asking you 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square until some square, let's say n square. Then the formula is n of n plus 1 of 2n plus 1 whole divided by 6. I told that this question had come in examination. So what will I do for the numerator now? 1 square plus 2 square. Aa jagadalli I will write. They have taken until x square. I will write instead of n. Had they written n, I would have written n. They have written x. I am writing x. This will become x of x plus 1 of 2x plus 1 divided by 6. You understood why I wrote that? Because it comes from this formula. It is this formula. So I have just written instead of n, question mentions x, I have written x. Now in the denominator, I already have x cube. That x cube has to be taken as it is. Is this clear? One of the rule of infinity is, now suppose you have log 2x. Do you remember? You can write this as 2 into log x. Similarly, if I have limit, I don't care whatever it is, like this, 4x. I can take this 4 outside and write limit x tends to 3. Did you understand? If you have any scalar multiple, take that scalar multiple outside. So here in this question, I have 1 by 6 scalar multiple, or the constant is 1 by 6. Here numerator 1, denominator 6. So in the next step, I will take that 1 by 6 outside and I am just writing whatever is left out. x of x plus 1 of 2x plus 1 whole divided by x cube. Unfortunately, I have infinity by infinity format. Now x value will become infinity. Infinity into anything is infinity. Also denominator is infinity cube infinity. I should never have that answer of infinity into infinity. So in order to substitute this, what I will do, I will split the x cube. How many times you have multiplied x? 3 times. So I will split that x for 3 times. X 1 time, x 2 time, x 3 time. Understood this step? Numerator as it is, x plus 1, x plus 2. All I did was x cube, now I have written it x multiplication for 3 times. Now cancel what all you can cancel. What is x by x? 1. What is x by x? 1. Okay, so here I will write x by x is 1. This will be 1 plus 1 by x. Understood? Next. 2x divided by x. What is 2x by x? X cancels. I am just left out with 2. 1 divided by x. It's a very complicated step. All you have to do is, see on the right hand side I have written x by x, I have written 1. X plus 1 by x, I have written x by x is 1. 1 by x as it is. Next 2x by x, na 2x by x, 2 x gets cancelled, 2 is left out, 2. 1 by x as it is. If you have understood this step, next step is easy. What is 1 by x? When x becomes infinity, 1 by infinity, 0. 1 by infinity, 0. So you are left with 2, you are left with 1. And here I have 1 by 6. So final answer is 1 by 6 into 1 into 2, which is equal to 1 divided by 3. This question is printed in the material and it was asked twice in the examination before 2016. Write this down. Crux of the problem is cracking this step. Done? We'll go for next question. Again a difficult one. Listen carefully. Limit x tends to infinity 1 by 1 minus n square, 1 minus n square, 1 minus n square. Use the common sense. Is something common between all of them? 1 by 1 minus n square. So I can see denominator 1 minus n square is common. So first step itself I'll take that outside. Next, what will happen to the numerator? I have highlighted 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus dot till n. Same discussion. If you have addition of 1 to n, it can be rewritten as n of n plus 1 by 2. So similarly, now in the numerator 1 plus 2 plus 3 until n, I can rewrite this as n of n plus 1 by 2. See, I have taken 1 by 1 minus n square common outside. What is left is only numerator part, 1 plus 2 plus 3 till n. This can be rewritten as n of n plus 1 divided by 2. Idadmele, what is scalar multiple or the constant that you can see? 1 divided by 2. I am repeating, scalar multiple is a constant. What constant you can see? 1 divided by 2. Take that 1 by 2 outside of the limit. So in the next step or anywhere in the further steps, this 1 by 2 will go off outside. So I'm just playing around with other stuff. This 1 minus n square. Now 1 minus n square. Can I write this as 1 plus n into 1 minus n? Doesn't make any difference if I write 1 plus 3 or 3 plus 1. Is there any difference between these two? No. Will it make any difference if I write 1 minus 3 or 3 minus 1? Yes, this makes difference. But here there is no difference if I write it as n plus 1 or 1 plus n. Using this concept, I am writing 1 minus n square. 1 plus n into 1 minus n. You understood this? How I got a square minus b square format, a plus b into a minus b. Ega 1 plus n or n plus 1, both are same. I am cancelling numerator and denominator. What is left out? 1 divided by 1 minus n. Here n is left out, take that n. This is scalar multiple 1 by 2, take it outside. Ashte. Now, n becomes infinity anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾ. They have mentioned in the question that n is becoming infinity. So, what will this look like? Infinity divided by infinity ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. So, again I can't solve this. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ I have to use some other technique after this step. ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ? I can find n is there both in numerator and denominator. So, for every term I am dividing by n. When I divide every term by n, this numerator will become n by 1 minus n. When I divide everything by n, it will take n by n divided by 1 by n minus n by n. You see what I did? Divided by n, divided by n, divided by n. Both are same. In that case, what is n by n? 1. 1 by n I have written. What is n by n? 1. Understood how I got this step? After this, 1 by n, 1 by infinity. What is value of 1 by infinity? 0. So, 1 divided by minus 1 is minus 1. Now, I am not getting infinity by infinity. I am getting minus 1 by 2. This is the final answer. Understood? Little difficult because 2 times I am changing. One time I am dividing by n. Another time here I am trying to cancel. So, 2 times I am making the changes. Copy this down. Why did I divide here by n? Otherwise, I'll get infinity divided by minus infinity. Infinity by infinity shouldn't come in my answer. That's the only reason I divided by n. If I did not get in that way, I wouldn't have divided by n. The last question from limits, that's the only one. Limit x tends to infinity again, 2x plus 1 by x cube plus 1. Obviously, 2 into infinity is infinity, x cube and infinity cube is also infinity. So, first step in I am getting infinity by infinity. I can't do it. Ega, it is not of the format where I can take it as a square minus b square. Because 2 is not a square of any number or x cube is not a square of any number. Obviously, I can't substitute at all. My only other way is either multiply all the terms by something or divide all the terms by something. So, I am starting in that way. I can observe there is x cube, the highest degree. So, now I will divide every term by x cube. When I divide every term by x cube, it will become 2x by x cube, 1 by x cube by x cube, 1 by x cube. Is this clear to everyone? Now cancel whatever you can cancel. X by x cube antane x square is left out. 1 by x cube, I can't cancel anything. X cube gets cancelled. 1 by x cube, I can't cancel anything. And this is fine with me. 1 by x cube is fine. Okay, 1 by infinity value is equal to 0. That is okay. I don't have any problem. I shouldn't get infinity by infinity. 1 by infinity is fine. There is no issue. So in the next step, I will rewrite this entire expression as 2 by x cube, 1 by x cube, 1 and 1 by x cube. What is 2 by x cube or 2 by x square? 0. What is 1 by x cube? 1 by infinity? 0. What is there in the denominator? 1. Idu in 0 by 0 agidre I wouldn't have solved. 0 by 1 is fine. 0 by 1 is 0 itself. This is okay with me. This value will become 0. So ultimately I have 0 divided by 1 which is equal to 0. This is the last question mentioned in ICI material. After this, there are no more problems. So limits, if you practice these questions, that's more than sufficient for examination. Write this off. Limits has some of the algebraic identities which we have already applied. I never told it out loudly, but limits has these identities. Like if you have a scalar multiple 1 by 2, 1 by 6, you remember I told take that scalar multiple outside, or when you were adding in the numerator two different functions 2x cube plus 2x square, something like that, you can apply limit differently. So you need not have to by heart any of these. There's no need to by heart at all. This is printed in your ICI material. By hearting or not by hearting is useless. All that matters is replacing this x value with whatever value they have given in the question. That's it. Limits comes to an end. One more pseudo concept is left out, continuity, but continuity will not be done in this video. I'll record that separately because it becomes little confusing. Limits and continuity, it's like doing both differentiation, integration in the same day. You'll get confused. So for that reason, continuity, I'll make another video for it, but it's very chotu discussion of 20 minutes. So all the best for your examination. From the day that I'm recording this video, exactly 12 days are left out for your CA Foundation examination. Your mentality or the mindset in the next 2 weeks matters. It can make your exam, it can break your examination. If you keep thinking that, okay, I don't know something, you will lose your confidence. Rather, whatever you know only a little bit in some chapter, you practice those questions and go, rather than concentrating on what you don't know. And second, apart from limits, continuity, do not try to experiment with any new question during this time. You're solving scanner for the first time, you come across some question, you will lose off your confidence. So right now it's not the time to practice new questions. All you have to do is whatever questions that you know you have practiced all these days, practice it again and again and become more perfect in that. All the best for your exam. After your result, please let me know how did it go after your examination. Once even economics is done, then leave me a message because I'll be eagerly waiting for all of your responses. Thank you so much.